What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. We're out here.
There we are.
Behind the Lines, episode 1,000,000. We're seriously clocking some Behind the Lines hours these days. Holy smokes. I think this is it's number 59. How about it? They let us come on here 59 times and talk about sports. Gotta love it.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. Yep. Let's go ahead and cut the shit and get it out of the way. How about the Megalodon? How about them? They said it couldn't be done. They said it wouldn't hit. They said that shit wasn't hitting. And what did it do? It hit in the 7th. Easy, free, hit while I was at the pregame still. And then got to go out and celebrate and spend half of it. So had a great fucking night. My head still hurts insanely. It's incredible. I feel old. Jovan, stay young, stay in school. My brain still feels like mush and still hurts. But the Megalodon hits, and that's all that matters in life.
Yeah. It was a public point. How about that?
Hey, I said it was square, but it was sharp. It was, public, whatever. At the end of the day, Jovan, I've talked about this 1,000,000 times. You just got to click the right button on the screen, brother. Plain and simple. And the right button was clicked, ladies and gents. So happy to be back and back at it on a Monday. We've got football coming up here this weekend, real football. And I'm not talking about stupid fucking Ravens-Cardinals preseason bullshit. I'm talking real football that matters and counts for the records and not some stupid streak that continues to go on and defy all physics and odds and just lose me money. We got real football coming up, Jovan.
We do.
Not bullshit preseason. I'm going to say right now, I'm taking the Commanders' money line this weekend. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it. Don't care if it's not smart. I will bet the Ravens to lose in the preseason until they lose or I have nothing. Okay? There's no convincing. There's no reasoning behind it. It's dumb. Don't care. I'm doing it. I will have a bet when the Ravens lose. I might be 50. I might have a week-long birthday hangover by the time they finally lose. But I'm going to keep fighting, and I'm not going to give up. Okay? That's one thing I'm not going to do. Plain and simple. It is what it is. Don't care if they keep losing. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can have that one. You can have that one.
I'll take it. I can have it. Thank you. I appreciate it. We got the Yankees on tonight again. We got Subway Series action.
Yeah.
We got a rare Monday Night Baseball W with the Mets and the Yanks. I was talking about it earlier. No way Scherzer loses to the Yankees with the way they're hitting. No way Herman outpitches Scherzer. Those odds are a little short. I don't know if it's because it's the Yankees and the Yankee tax still exists every single day. Every day you wake up and open your eyes and life is going on around you, there's a Yankee tax. Don't care how bad they're playing. Maybe there's a Yankee tax involved in this game, or maybe this line is weirdly short for a reason. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking of, but it's definitely sketch seeing Scherzer at -150 against Domingo Herman and the struggling Yanks.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
It's definitely really weird. And I mean, again, you said it, pretty much everything that I would say about it. It's weird that Scherzer, as well as he's pitching, like you're right. There's no way that the Yankees, with the way their offense is hitting the ball right now, there's no way they can beat Scherzer, right? And this line is, I think, it opened pretty short to begin with, and it's still going the Yankees' way, which is it's definitely interesting. I don't know if I can get myself to back Herman, but it's definitely a spot where I will sure as hell not be taking the Mets.
They're making it really hard for me when I woke up and wanted to take Scherzer. It's the more I think about it, talk about it, the more that line moves to the Yankees. The less I'm willing to play Scherzer and the Mets. I don't think it's a look at all. I think if anything, it's Herman maybe.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of kind of the same line of thinking prop wise about Scherzer, because I mean I've seen a lot of his strikeouts everywhere, and they're saying Scherzer's at 7 flat on Prize Picks and juiced to the under 7.5 on books. So you think you're getting a lot of value, especially with how much the Yankees have been striking out lately. So I mean that line's weird. The line of the game is really weird. It's a lot that is really, really testing me to want to take Domingo Herman.
Yeah, Our guy John in chat said, "Don't put any financial stake into Domingo Herman." Number one, that's just making me want to put financial stake on Domingo Herman. But number two, he's right. Plain and simple, that guy. Number one, he's literally the scum on the bottom of my shoe as a human being. Fruity, the 24 Udin whale, sure he can. Love it. But yeah, no, that just makes me want to take Herman. But I also just don't want to take Herman because he's Domingo Herman and he's a piece of shit and he's on the Yankees. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Are we going to hear the narrative today like we heard after the last game of the Rays-Yanks series when the Yankees won? Are we going to hear, ooh, the Yanks are back? Or do you think people learn their lesson after saying that last time and then watching the Yankees lose 3 games in a row to fucking Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to hear it, especially if they come in and beat Scherzer. Because I think this is the point where we're hearing this feels like game 3 of the Rays series where everybody's completely off the Yankees, especially against Scherzer.
Mm-hmm.
They have no chance of winning with how their bats have been, right? Not that I'm saying they're back or anything, but it's a super weird spot.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. We do have a day game today. There aren't usually Monday day games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
honestly, this one is even weirder to me than this Yankees game.
You think it's weird that Lynch and Co are this short of a dog against Kopech and how he's looked in his last 2 starts? Is that what you're entailing?
No, I think the total is a little weirder, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I know there's something with Wynn. I don't know if it's going in or out. Something with that, but I still don't think, regardless of how it is, it makes a big enough difference here. Because we all know the way the Royals' bats have been. They've been absolutely atrocious. Rays have a good pitching staff, absolutely, but even before that, they've been atrocious. Then you look at how these pitchers have pitched. Kopech's been a lot better recently. Last 2 starts, I think he had 1 bad start before that, but he's been better. Daniel Lynch, I believe, has dominated the White Sox in 2 or 3 starts against them this year. And I know the total moved down, which I assume has to do with the wind. But I feel like an opener of 8.5 doesn't make much sense for this game. Because, I mean, the White Sox offense hasn't been fantastic either. So that I saw that. That was one of the first things I saw on the board last night that didn't really make much sense to me at all.
You're saying that total is too damn high.
Yeah, and I know it moved down to 8, but the opener, that's just a really strange opener to me.
Okay, so Lynch pitched, a bazillion years ago in April against the White Sox. 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs. But does that count? That was months ago. I don't know. He also pitched against them in August. 5 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts. It's the most strikeouts he's had in months.
Yeah.
So maybe he does pitch well. Excuse me. I'm still wearing off a Saturday night hangover. I'm not even kidding.
I mean, I'm tired too, so I feel you.
Holy shit.
Classes have started today.
Classes start today.
They did. I had to waddle over 7 a.m. in an absolute monsoon over here.
You had to take a class in person? You're taking in-person classes? Are those all full go now these days?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say the one plus of the whole COVID thing was that it helped me graduate on time, 1,000%. All my classes went remote last semester. My capstone got canceled, which was awesome. A very, very rare, maybe the only one of all time, a COVID W. Helped Krabs graduate school on time. How about it?
Yeah.
But now, God, you got to go back. You got to go into classes in person and take notes and learn. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
You got him that.
I'm cool with it. It was
okay.
The COVID years were torture. I'll say that.
Yeah. Overall, they were huge. Huge L. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Although I will say the golf course near us at school, which was a shitty course, but they closed and they said, since we play there all the time, they're like, you guys can walk the course and play for free whenever. We're still going to upkeep the course. So that's actually maybe the only second COVID W ever as well. Yeah. So maybe I didn't have too bad of a time. Holy shit. But gosh, man, you're back in the cuts. This is your last year, correct?
Yes. Wrapping it up.
Knock on wood if you get through on time. But guys, Jovan Smart, he hits his props and he got into Notre Dame. So his brain works pretty well. We'll give him props. Speaking of Notre Dame, we got college football coming up here. We got games in Ireland on Saturday that don't involve Notre Dame, which I thought was kind of fucking weird. Why are we sending teams over there who are not Notre Dame? Or I don't know. Are people over there? And if anybody in here is from Ireland, number one, holy shit. Number two, do people love college football over there for some reason? Like, I understand having Navy Notre Dame go out there. I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to go to a game like that, to be honest with you. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I'm extremely Irish. Hence why I get so angry so easily. But I don't understand why we're getting, what is the game? Is it fucking
Nebraska Northwestern, right?
Nebraska Northwestern on Saturday in Ireland? Don't understand it. Don't understand why that's happening, but whatever. It's college football. I'm not going to complain. I just feel like it makes no fucking sense. But with that being said, I do want to talk about week 0 a little bit. I do like Northwestern. I'll take the points in a weird neutral site game where players might be a little uncomfortable. Nebraska doesn't have Adrian Martinez anymore, and honestly, I thought he was okay. A lot of stupid mistakes, but I mean, I'd rather have Adrian Martinez than the fucking quarterback they're rolling with this year, Casey Thompson, I think, the transfer from Texas. I don't know if you know anything about that guy, but I don't think he's really played much.
Oh, yeah, I do.
You know some stuff about him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Okay.
a Big 12 guy, so I mean, I've seen him play a lot.
Right.
I think he's going to fit really well with that team.
Okay.
I'm not going to say he's the greatest talent in the world, but I am definitely going to be keeping track of how he does over the course of the year because I think he never reached the ceiling with Texas, to be honest with you. I think it was a lot of, regardless of expectations, scheme of that offense, kind of the focus on Bijan too. I mean, I think he's going to reach a new level there. Will that be enough for that team? Probably not, but I'm interested to see it for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think Northwestern is going to be very good. But I just don't see how I don't take those points, with Nebraska rolling out a new QB. Big name Nebraska, right? We think of Nebraska. I was talking with Ben about this earlier. We hear Nebraska, and you think, the first thing you think of is good college football team. But they really haven't been too great recently. Scott Frost, right? He's the coach. He's kind of on the hot seat. He's kind of been on the hot seat for like years. He kind of gives me Justin Fuente vibes at Tech. Like, I just don't think he's really that guy. I don't think it's really worked out there. So I'm not high on the coach. They've got a new quarterback. There's going to be some kinks. And I mean, you say you like the kid, and he probably is going to be pretty fucking good if he's transferred from Texas. I agree, but it might take him a couple weeks to really figure his shit out. You can only, get so many reps in practice and have that matter. I think he's going to need to get out there and play a couple games. I'm taking those Northwestern points, plain and simple. And unfortunately, I think that's probably the best game for week 1. I mean, another, battle of 2 Texas schools, North Texas and UTEP. I think that'll be a great football game, but it's just not, big schools, right? It's not Nebraska. But I think that might be the best actual football game of the weekend. North Texas, UTEP. I'm probably going to look to play UTEP, at home. I don't know if I'm going to take the points or take the ML. Right now I'm seeing +1 at -110, and I'm seeing money line at -105. So I probably at this point, if I had to play it, I'd take the +1 and I'd eat the 5 cents. I'll take that point. You never fucking know. It's college football. That's definitely something I'm giving a look to. That game as well, but just not that many good games. I mean, Vanderbilt, Hawaii, like that might be the worst, grossest game of all time. And that's what we got to watch Saturday night at fucking 10:30 on CBS. Shit.
There's nothing better.
It's actually pretty crazy. I'm already complaining about college football. It hasn't even started.
Yeah, unreal.
I shouldn't be complaining about anything. I'm just be happy that we're getting college football, right?
Yeah.
But shit, man, that's gross. That Nevada, New Mexico State game, the line has already moved 3.5 points towards New Mexico State, which is pretty fucking weird because that program blows. I think that's definitely an interesting look. Yeah, our guy Cody's geeking in chat. Vandy, Hawaii, best game. Come on now. Did you see somebody bets $4,000 on Vanderbilt over 2 wins for this season? Did you see that?
I didn't.
Yeah, somebody bet over 2 wins. And I think it probably closes at 2. They play Hawaii and they're -7, but that doesn't mean they're fucking winning that game. Both these programs are dog shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Vandy, the sorriest program in all of Power 5, in my opinion. Hawaii's also terrible too, but they should probably win that game. And then they play Elon. They'll probably beat Elon. I mean, if they don't beat Elon, give me a break. And then they play Northern Illinois. But then after that, they play all SEC schools, and they're not going to win a single one of those games, in my opinion. So it'll probably end up pushing, but I thought that was a crazy bet. You're going to know if that future cashes or not within the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, which is kind of funny. It's like the shortest future ever.
Almost better.
I thought that was kind of a geek. Honestly, get it over with. Yeah, cut the shit. Yeah. And what's probably going to happen is they'll win 2 out of those 3 games against Elon, Hawaii, and Northern Illinois. They'll probably win 2 out of those 3. And then he's going to have to hold on and just pray for a fucking crazy upset in the SEC going forward, which is just not going to happen. There'll probably be a game at some point that's weirdly close because it is college football. But I don't see them winning a single game on their schedule. No fucking way. Was there anything that stuck out to you week 0 wise? I mean, it's a really fucking shitty slate of games, but it's still college football, and I'm still going to try to bet every single fucking game. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Not too much, to be honest with you. I mean, there's a couple games I think are going to be maybe a little more entertaining than others. I think we see a lot of points in the Charlotte FAU game. I know the total's been creeping up in the last couple of weeks, a point or two. That's one that I think is going to be one of the more entertaining games of the weekend.
Okay.
I think probably the opposite for this Wyoming-Illinois game. I know a lot of people love this under. I'm definitely not against it. I don't think we're going to see much from either of these offenses, but I think this will end up being probably a sneakily close game for a while. If I could be tempted to play Wyoming a little plus 10.5. We'll see. I'll be labbing a little bit more as we lead up to it, but yeah, there's nothing crazy that's really screaming at me that I really want to watch this or I really want to play this. It's just glad there's football. That's about it.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's only like 10 games-ish.
Yeah.
I think on Saturday, right? And then we get a couple games on Thursday, which will be dope the following week, and we're not going to dive into those yet. But there's only about 10 games this Saturday, but you know what? It ain't much, but it's honest work, and we'll take it. It's going to start off the first college football game of the season, Austin Peay versus Western Kentucky. I'm not even seeing a spread out yet, but I'm sure it's how I'm going to try to find an angle in that one.
Yeah,
I can promise you that. Okay. And then Nebraska Northwestern is the first real game of the season, I guess, kicking off at 12:30 Eastern time. We're going to have to dive the fuck into that going forward this week. But we've got some time. I did want to briefly talk about some NFL win total type shit because I know I want to do a little bit of fantasy football talk this week with you, a little bit of NFL talk with you this week because we're getting close. We're almost there. Thank fucking God. I think we should talk about some win totals a little bit here. One that I really the most, crabby, contrarian, disgusting, total win total bets that I don't even think I could take because it's so fucking gross and I don't even believe in it. But it's something that I wanted to at least bring it up to you and see what you have to think about it. Would be taking the Giants win total over. A team that everyone's geeking about, a team that everyone's making fun of. We're hearing Daniel Jones can't throw shit in camp. Thibodeau just got hurt. He's probably out for a month now, which is terrible. You hate to see that dirty tackle on him this weekend. That was brutal. But I mean, not a single person on earth is taking the Giants win total over. So I think it's at least, talking about 6.5 is kind of juiced. But I don't think I would not be shocked if you told me not a single dollar was placed on their over win total this season. Straight up.
Yeah. I'm not against that. You think of the Giants, like obviously it's a little embarrassing to watch them, especially, preseason and training camp, we've seen clips or whatever.
Mhm.
Daniel Jones of the offensive line, whatever. But I think they're in a pretty good spot this year. I think I saw something. I was watching NFL Network a couple days ago. They were talking about Brian Dable. That's a bigger deal that I think a lot of people are understanding it to be, having him as a head coach with Daniel Jones, because his play calling is definitely more suited to Daniel Jones' skill set. They're showing there's going to be a lot of more RPOs, a lot of more shorter routes off of that option as well. So that's a big deal for Daniel Jones. It's less out of his comfort zone. I don't think the play calling really fit his skill set initially. So I don't hate that. And you think of the Giants too, like Daniel Jones obviously hasn't been healthy a lot of the time, and so they've been rolling with Colt McCoy, rolling with whatever backup comes in, and they have Tyrod Taylor. They have Tyrod Taylor now, who's not just competition. Not saying he's going to start over him at any point, but he's
Probably should.
Yeah, I mean he could, but I doubt it's going to happen. But I mean he's a good veteran presence as well as having a good backup, one of the better backups in the league. So that's a big thing. I just think there's going to be a much better product on the field from the Giants, I would say. They also, play in the NFC East, which is much more wide open this year. A couple weaker teams.
It's wide open every year. We beat up on each other every single season.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And it's a lot of teams. I would say what I meant by that is a lot of teams that we really don't know what we're going to get from them. Like we think the Cowboys are a much weaker roster, and everybody knows nobody wins that division 2 years in a row. Hasn't happened in God knows how long. The Commanders, who knows who they're going to get with Carson Wentz or whatever. The Eagles, everybody expects them to be a little better, but it's still not proven by any means. So, I mean, what are we going to get? What are we going to get from the Giants either? Who knows? They're wide open. They have a pretty soft schedule, so I don't hate that one bit.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget. I mean, the Giants weren't good before Daniel Jones got hurt last year, but they were sitting at 4-7.
Yeah.
When he got hurt, and then the Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm bullshit happens, and I think they went like 0-6. I mean, check my math on that, but I think they lost every single game once Daniel Jones got hurt. And Jovan, I think Daniel Jones stinks. But you brought up a great point. If they're going to tailor the offense to what he could actually be good at, and that's maybe throwing some runs every once in a while. We saw that dude make some fucking plays with his feet over the last couple of years, but their fucking coach was too much of a bonehead to actually call plays and take advantage of it. Instead, he just tried to make him a pocket passer only, and he looked like shit. So I think that's smart. Yeah. It's at least worth a shot if he can stay healthy. Let's see. And it's also, a contract year for Daniel Jones. So I'm sure him and his camp, his family, his agent, himself, looking himself in a mirror saying, all right, buddy, it's now or never. I either go out there and prove that I'm the quarterback of this team, or I might not get a chance to start, ever again in my career, because his career has been that bad so far. It's his last chance. And I don't like backing the Giants, right? But I like Dable, and it's now or never. And I like backing guys in spots like that. Smart guys like Daniel Jones, who, I hope he's putting in that extra time this season and trying to get himself ready. And as a young quarterback, he should be getting better every year. Maybe it was just injuries. And that's coming from a Commanders fan who fucking hates the Giants' guts. So that's kind of why I think their over win total is actually a decent look. We know their defense is always going to be decent. We know they're probably going to split with every team in their division like they always do every year. I swear to God, I mean, this is my conference or division or whatever. Like I've been following this division for, my entire life. And no matter how good teams are, no matter how bad teams are, damn near every season, every team in that division splits, no matter what. That's just how it goes. So it'll probably happen again. So there's 3 wins right there. And then they got to go out and get a couple more at least. But they'll probably win 2 against the Commanders because Daniel Jones' stats against the Commanders are fucking insane. He turns into Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Literally. And speaking of Tom Brady, what have you been hearing down there?
Man, well, I'll start off by saying we have another starting offensive lineman now out for the season. So
which one?
Aaron Stinney, starting guard.
That's 3 now, isn't it?
It is 3. That's 3.
Dude, that's not good.
It's not good. Not good in the slightest. But I will say,
shit.
I think the effect that it has on Tom Brady is a little overblown, just in the general public, because he's his whole thing, his entire career, but especially with the Bucks, is getting the ball out quick. So I mean, all you got to do is block for a couple seconds. But with that being said, I think the port where it has the most impact is going to be, if we're talking fantasy, Russell Gage and Chris Godwin, because we're not going to be able to run the ball. I mean, it's going to have a terrible effect on Leonard Fournette, obviously.
Yeah.
But the short passing game, the screen game, the little bubble screens that the Bucks run, that's going to have to be essentially the running game, which is, I know I've talked about Russell Gage before. That's going to be even a bigger thing now, a bigger role for him, especially with Godwin out likely the first couple of weeks. But those two guys, one of them, if not both of them, are likely not going to be healthy, mostly Chris Godwin, throughout the entire year. So that's going to have to be the Bucks running game, which is why I will be targeting both of them in fantasy football for talking that. But as far as the whole Tom Brady thing, like I have absolutely no clue what's going on. He's practicing today, so he's back. But I don't really know. They're going to have to seriously pull some strings as far as game plan and everything to make sure that it's tight and it's Tom Brady-like, because the whole approach is going to have to be executed to a crisp this coming season.
Yeah, and if the rumors are true and Big Tom is out there getting a divorce, he might break his fucking record, most career touchdown passes, most career. I mean, he might be out for blood. I don't know what's going on with the whole shit behind the scenes. I always kind of thought that it was a weird couple. I just think Tom Brady might just be a little bit of a weird guy. I don't know. I also think he might be a robot. I think if anyone on earth is actually a walking robot, it's probably him. So maybe he's done, if he is a robot, maybe he's done putting up the facade of needing to be married to this chick. I don't know. But there are some rumors going around, Jovan, that might be why he was stepping away for the team for a little bit, to deal with some personal stuff like that. And at the end of the day, it's not our business, but at the end of the day, that's Tom Brady, and he's a bazillionaire. And when you're that rich and successful and famous, people are all up in your shit. That's just how it goes, unfortunately. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it is. But if him and Giselle are actually going through some sort of breakup, don't bet against Tom Brady. He might be coming with some fire this year. Straight up. He might be out for blood. He might be out for blood. Plain and simple. Somebody asked if we have any futures already placed. I'm going to be doing that, this and next week. I'm going to probably be locking in a couple futures. And obviously, whenever I do, we'll talk about it on here. The only one I have in right now is the Jets win total under. When I got a call from a source saying to take it, because Zach Wilson tore his ACL and then he ended up not tearing his ACL. So got a little bit of some bad info there. It happens. But I still like the play. The odds are finally back on the book. So I got under 5.5 at plus 155. Great fucking value, right? But great value is only great when the fucking bet hits. I hate when people just say great value. Now we're getting it at it's still at 5.5, but the under is only plus 130. So I got good value. Ooh, great, sweet. But that's only going to fucking matter if they win less than 6 games. So that's what I'm on. Do I love it? No. Do I still like it and think that it hits? Yes. I think Zach Wilson not being able to play the rest of the preseason, maybe missing week 1 and coming right back off, from an injury, I think that's not going to help the Jets offense. Yeah. And I'm not really scared of Flacco. I mean, not a hot take. That dude is a fossil. So I'll probably eat my words and he'll look great, and end up keeping the starting job and take this team to the playoffs because it's fucking sports and I love it and nothing makes sense. But that's the only future right now that I have in. Do you have anything pending currently?
I don't have any NFL futures. Just stuck to a couple of college football ones. That's really it.
Okay. Awesome. So what would be those futures, honestly, if you want to just spit them out?
I mean, I've talked about a couple of them. I know I talked about Marshall. That's one that I'm super high on.
Yep.
TCU, which is a biased bet, obviously, but I do think it's a legitimate good look from what I've seen and what I see from a lot of these coaching staffs, and kind of going off of TCU because the defensive coordinator for Tulsa is now at TCU, and I know what he brought to them and everything. I won't go on the whole spiel, but I was on Tulsa's under 6 as well. I don't like their team this year, losing a lot of pieces on defense. losing a lot of their defensive schemes. Now the guy coming in is not really fit to any of their personnel whatsoever. I think they only have 3 starters returning on defense. It's a lot of things. I mean, they're just not going to be very good this year, I don't think, and their schedule is not very easy to navigate either in the American. So that's one I'm on. There's a couple of them that I've locked in. I have to go look, but those are probably the main 3. Definitely Tulsa or Marshall, the main one.
I love the Marshall angle, and I'm a little concerned. Virginia Tech is starting a Marshall quarterback this year at transfer, so that should show you where the direction of our program's going. We go from Michael Vick to starting a Marshall transfer. We're really moving in the right direction. Nice.
Yeah.
Fuck. Something that I did want to bring up, football-wise, before we can kind of dive into these baseball games today. We're seeing 10 home underdogs in NFL for week 1. And guys, we're going to go over, all of these games. We're going to make sure you guys know what color laces the backup center is wearing on the fucking Jaguars. We're going to go over all these games. You have nothing to worry about. We've got a little bit of time NFL wise, but that's definitely something bringing up. That's something that has never happened before. We've never seen 10 home dogs. I'm absolutely ecstatic, and I'm trying to be good and not get out of control because it's week 1, right? And it's some people, and I believe both sides, right? There's the angle of, well, the sports books don't know shit too because the season's also just started and everything's changed. So bet a lot early if you think you have an angle or you think you have value, because the books are still figuring their shit out too. And I kind of agree with that because, as we've seen, betting seasons go recently, especially for like college basketball, we saw the lines get so much tighter and so much sharper as the season went on, especially, towards March Madness. Yep. So maybe that is true. But also, guys, we're not going to outsmart, the sports books. It's not possible. They're bigger, faster, stronger. It is what it is. But, there's a time and a place and there's spots that we can find. But overall, we could sit down and study a game for the next 2 weeks, Jovan, and the books would probably still be able to set a more accurate, better line. That's just how it goes. So I'm scared to go all in on these home dogs early, but the evil guy on my shoulder, the evil fucking Megalodon supporter right here, sitting here is tripping me right now saying, maybe you take a shot at some of these home dogs week 1 while you still can. So we'll get to it. There's 3 games. There's 3 teams that I'll tell you right now that I'm betting on week 1. And I'm in no rush to bet them. Yeah, shout out to Meg. There's 3 teams that I'm betting week 1, plain and simple. Okay. Number 1, it's the Atlanta Falcons at home +5 against the Saints. And I'm extremely high on the Saints. I am, but I just think Atlanta keeps that one close and keeps that within 5 points. I really do. So that's a look for me. Number 2 would be the fucking, where are they? I'm scrolling down here. The Vikings +2. This is probably my favorite bet of week 1. Absolutely praying that this closes at 2.5 because +2.5 in NFL is my favorite line to bet. And I've had the most success with it, betting that out of any other line, out of any other sport. When I see a +2.5, Jovan, it's almost just an auto bet for me.
Really?
Last year especially, I swear to God, I ripped off at least 80% betting these +2.5s. I don't know what it is. I think that nobody just wants to bet the +2.5, and I think people fucking love betting -2.5 in football because that's such a key number. And you're thinking, damn, I can get this really good team here at -2.5, and it's not even -3, right? It's not even a field goal. And your brain triggers you and you want to take that, but I'll take that +2.5, and I've noticed that a lot of those teams will win outright too. So I'm loving the Vikings and Kirk Cousins. God, I hate to say it, against Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, shocker, right?
No, I'm legit shocked. I think
you're actually shocked.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you're betting on one of the most public teams in week 1 against Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I would say the Vikings are kind of a public look this season, but I wouldn't say they're a public bet week 1. I still think Aaron Rodgers will bring in more money, once that line closes. I guarantee you there's more money on the Packers than there are on the Vikings week 1. Am I worried about how trendy the Vikings have been this offseason? For sure. I am. And I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that talk. But I think it's a good time to fade Aaron Rodgers with some of these new weapons, new toys. It might take them a little bit to settle in. It might take Rodgers a little bit to figure out how to use these guys correctly. And I'm willing to take the Vikings in this high-powered offense. I'm worried about the defense. Don't get me wrong. I'm worried about the Vikings defense for sure, and it's Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers, I'm pretty sure, covered damn near every game last season. And I'm going to fade that trend here in week 1, and I'm going to take Kirk Cousins. For better or for worse, I'm taking him. And then, of course, I'm taking Seattle +5 at home against Denver Monday Night Football. I might as well lock that one in now. That is so. I've tweeted this out that I'm taking these plays, and I love reading through the reactions and seeing what people like. And I mean, people were getting legitimately angry that I was saying that I'm taking Seattle. Like people were like, "No, that's the dumbest bet I've ever seen. The Broncos are going to win this game by 20." Russell Wilson, and that's when I hear that, that makes me just want to even double down on Seattle.
You're probably gonna have to. Would be smart to wait until kickoff for that one. That one's probably
zero rush.
That one's going to see a touchdown, I think.
Zero rush. I mean, it's already moved to 1.5 on some books. God, I'm seeing 6 on some books.
I can almost guarantee you see a touchdown by kickoff of that game.
That might be the grossest bet. Talk about an emotional bet. Seattle. You think they're happy with Russell Wilson leaving that team? And I'm not saying, the skill level of the players remaining on that team is anywhere near close Russell Wilson, right? But all the pressure's on him, all the pressure's on the Broncos. Talk about a team I want to take their win total under. It's the fucking Broncos, who we're acting like has already somehow won that division. I don't fucking get it. I'm tired of hearing it. That's a tough-ass division. And I want nothing to do with the Broncos and Russell Wilson this year. And I think they underperform, plain and simple. They got a new coach. New coaches scare me. And I went Seattle. And yes, great point there by our guy, Jabron Buckets. Seattle is not good. But I'll tell you right now, that place is about to be fucking rocking.
Oh, yeah.
Monday Night Football. The 12th man, right? That's what they call it.
Yep.
That place is about to be shaking. I'll go ahead and take the points. And I'll back on Russell Wilson to be a little nervous coming home against his old team. And they're going to be pretty hungry, to take down Russell Wilson after he left the team, right? Very similar to Juan Soto and the Padres-Nats series, right? We saw, that was pretty much the Nats World Series was playing against the Padres. And I saw more heart out of that team over the last 4 games than I think I have all season combined. It's very, very similar situation here where Seattle is going to be playing hungry and you're going to get maximum effort from that team. And it helps that, they're 0-0, just like the Broncos are. If this matchup was happening, halfway through the season when Seattle was sitting at, 2-6, I don't think it would mean as much. But these guys are 0-0, fresh start. Maybe the guys in Seattle don't know that they suck yet, right? It's still a fresh season. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Absolutely love the spot for the Seahawks at home. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Were there any week 1 bets that are like really sticking out to you right now? Anything that's making you itch?
Not really yet. Honestly,
Okay.
I've been still so consumed with the baseball board on a daily basis. I haven't really had time to look too far into it yet. So I'm hoping we get to do that over the next week or so. Maybe have a little big football devoted spaces or stream or whatever and get into all that. But nothing I've looked at yet that's really screaming my name.
Right. That's fair. We got time. And yes, guys, the Jaguars +3.5 is maybe the freest bet on the board, but I won't be betting it. I'll be at the game. So honestly, that makes it even more free. Jags outright. The Commanders defense, and I know it's preseason. I know it doesn't matter. They look atrocious. And people are starting to freak out. Commanders beat reporters, the commentators, everyone's seeing it. Good football brains who follow the team, they're seeing it. They're seeing it at practice. They're seeing it on the field of preseason. Carson Wentz, who hasn't thrown a touchdown or really done anything in the preseason, and his preseason's probably done. He didn't really impress, but he is not even close to being at the top of our concerns right now. Our defense looks like shit.
I know. One of my roommates is a Commanders fan too, and he was watching the preseason game. What was it, 2 days ago or yesterday or whatever it was? I was looking at it. It just looked confusing, and I know a lot of it was backups, but of course, guys were missing tackles. Guys were just technically not great, but like defensively, they look like they're playing 3 different schemes. It was weird.
Yeah, no, they look terrible.
I work with the TCU football team, like recruiting and film and everything, so I can notice these things, and it looked like the guys were playing legit different defenses. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, our coach is a fucking idiot. Our defensive coordinator, Jack Del Rio. Talking about a fucking moron. That guy. Remember when he's talking about the fucking Capitol riots? And I know we don't like to get political or whatever, but he was talking about the dust up at the Capitol. I was like, bro, people fucking died at that shit. Like, that was not a dust up.
I know.
You sound like a fucking dumbass talking about that. And how are you supposed to be a leader of men? Leading by example, leading with your words, leading with your actions when you get up there in front of a mic and say that there was a dust up and that it didn't matter when people literally lost their lives and were being fucking idiots. Whatever. We're not going down this path, but that's the guy leading our defense. We're already in trouble. And also, we continue to not be able to make any stops on third down. We never have. Since I literally remember watching us 10, 15 years ago, we have never been able to stop people on third downs. And that looked even more prevalent 2 days ago on Saturday in the preseason game. And you could say it was backups. You could say it doesn't matter or whatever, but we looked lost out there. We made, these other offenses look great. We made them look great. I'm concerned because I know our offense isn't going to be great. And we're supposed to win games with our defense. That's the game plan, but we couldn't cover anyone. Couldn't cover anyone. It is what it is. Let's pivot back to baseball. All right, let's pivot back to baseball. We got about 30 minutes, and we got some games today. You're thinking, in this 2:00 game, you're thinking maybe the over is a look here. Was that what you were talking about before?
I mean,
it's
that's what I'm
down
thinking.
To 8 now. It's back down to 8.
I know. That's what scared me initially, but I mean, just the opener, regardless of how it moved, unless it would have moved the full run. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I'm going to have to decide, quickly, but that just seems like such a weird opener to me, to be honest with you. I think it outweighs any move that's less than a full run. It's just super weird. And especially with how Lynch has been pitching against them this year, and in the past month, he had a really good start against them. But, I mean, like, if you look at – you can really analyze, like, the matchups, and, like, I was looking at it for props and stuff. All of this White Sox lineup matches up really well with him. They just haven't put it together. And some of that has been because they haven't been a full lineup in those starts against him and just in general. But I don't know. It's putting my brain in a pretzel. I think the White Sox definitely score some runs. Do the Royals want to score runs today is the question. Yes, like Phil's is saying, I like the Pollock runs on RBI. I do like that a lot.
Yeah. I like me some AJ Pollock.
Yeah, so do I.
We have him lead off today. Lead off today?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. Strong wins in this game potentially. I'm seeing here. We need to make sure we're not betting on a fucking stupid Wrigley win game or some shit like this.
That's the thing, though, because I think it's in Kansas City, isn't it?
It's in Kansas City. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the wind is blowing in. It doesn't look like it's anything crazy. I'm seeing less than 10 miles an hour in, blowing from right to left. It's not even blowing directly in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not really terribly concerned about that.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a matter of, do we think the Royals are going to score a couple runs today off of Kopech? With that line set at 8, open up at 8.5. Do I think that line opening up at 8.5 is a little high? Yeah, I do. But also, these guys' stats on the surface are not good. These pitchers' numbers on the surface, and I know we're better than that. We're smarter than that. We look at how they've actually been pitching, and that's why the total is confusing to us. But like, the blind better clicks on this fucking game, and they see Kopech at 4.9 with a 3+ ERA, and Lynch at 4.8 with a fucking 5.5 ERA, and you're thinking, well, maybe this total isn't too weird. But I'm with you. I mean, the baseball brain is telling me that probably should have been set at 8, but I don't know if I'm willing to take the shot on that because like they're not going to set that at 7.5 with those pitchers. If anything, if they got set at 7.5, I'd be like, shit, we should take the under. So I don't think it's
with the way the Royals' offense has been lately. I don't know if you've looked or if anybody's looked. They have been not just bad but horrendous.
I mean, they've scored 2, 2, 3, 1, 0, and that's just in their last 5. They've been under machines recently, which I like, and that makes me lean the over, right? The offense has got to be coming. So maybe it is pretty telling with how fucking poverty their offense has been. They're getting a total here, opening up at 8.5 against Michael Kopech, one of the best young arms in baseball.
Yeah.
Maybe it is pretty telling. Maybe Kopech isn't as good as he's looked in his last 2 starts. I mean, Michael Kopech was pretty bad for almost 2 months there.
The Royals have gone over 8.5 once in their last 9 games. In the one game that went over, they got shut out in.
What the fuck? Interesting.
So terrible.
Damn, bro. This is kind of a weird fucking line. And it's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if this closes at 8.5. I mean, the odds are really juiced to the over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nothing crazy.
The White Sox could hit this themselves against Lynch.
They could. I mean, they haven't shown the capability to, but if they were going to, I feel like any day it would be today. Just because I like that
Lynch. I like that Lynch has pitched well against them in the past. Because that leads Squares to believe he's going to do it again. But we both know that the more ABs you get against a guy, the better off you're going to be. It's not rocket science.
And I mean, honestly, too, I think not as weird as the total, but I think again with the way the Royals' offense has been lately, the opener for the White Sox and the line where it still is right now might be a little short too, which kind of leads me to think that the Royals do something offensively as well. That's what I'm thinking.
I think you're right, and I also think, let me add this on here, a little icing on the cake. I also think with all the money coming in on Chicago and this line really hasn't moved, is also pretty telling and pretty good sign for the Royals. I don't think the Royals, if the Royals win this game, I don't think the Royals win this game, 2-1. I think if they win this game, they're going to have to score some runs, and that helps the over as well. I don't know. I think I'm going to stay away from this game. But I totally pick up what you're putting down with that line being set there, and I can get behind it, but I don't think I can get behind it enough to bet it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same headspace, but I don't know. It's really looking at me funny. I don't want to force anything today, though.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay. What about Atlanta Pitt? We're getting Odorizzi. We're getting Contreras. We're getting every single dollar being placed on the Braves. Shocker. And we're getting a line that's not moving one bit. We're getting a young electric arm in Contreras who's been bad. But we've also seen that dude pitch well this season at times. And I think this guy's going to be a good pitcher eventually. But I don't know if I want to back him. I mean, he could go out there and pitch. He could be out of this game in the 3rd inning against this Braves lineup, plain and simple. Are you getting any vibes in this game? Do you like anything?
I mean, I know what the splits say, but I mean, on Twitter and everything, I've heard a lot of Pirates today.
Really?
I love to fade Odorizzi more than anybody, but Pirates offense is bad, and I think him being -200 on the road is pretty telling. I mean, I know that the Braves are one of the best teams in the league right now. Pirates are horrendous. How much lower can they really put them? But I don't think it's a spot to try and get too cute here at the Pirates, to be honest with you. I think it's the Braves run line or nothing. I think they either win this game by a lot or the Pirates sneak out a win. I don't think it's going to be particularly close if the Braves do win this game. I hate Odorizzi as much as the next guy, but it's not the spot to do it, I don't think.
Okay, so hear me out. Yes, the Pirates are terrible. The Pirates' offense is terrible. Pirates' everything is terrible. But the Pirates have been scoring runs recently. Okay, they've hit a bunch of overs in a row. Some of those games, or at least one of those games against the Reds, they didn't really do much. They scored 1 run, but that game still went over. We've seen them hit the over in 9 out of their last 10 games. We've seen them put up runs, in general recently, at least more than they have been. And then we also got the Braves, who are debatably the hottest team in baseball. They look fucking great offensively. We're getting Odorizzi, the turkey tosser. We're getting Contreras, who, has had starts this season where he's pitched lights out, but he's also had a bunch of starts this year where he's given up 4 runs or he pitched against the Brewers, couldn't even get out of the second inning, and that's the Brewers. My point here is we're getting a total here set at 9. I think it's too damn high. I think it's too damn high because these offenses have been scoring a bunch of runs recently. I think it's too high because these pitchers suck. But to be honest with you, Jovan, if Jake Odorizzi's pitching well ever the rest of the season, this is the spot, in my opinion. He's getting a Tigers lineup, right? Odorizzi's got this one circled on his calendar. He could go out there and shove and shut them down. The Pirates are already packed up looking to next season, right? And they still don't have any Cabrian Hayes, which is huge. And that lineup just does not scare me looking at him. I think we could get an Odorizzi decent start here. Do I hate the -1.5? No, don't hate it. But I think the under here is a decent play. And it's really just banking on Contreras going out there and being able to get through 4 or 5 innings. I think we see less runs than expected here. And I think that line is too damn high.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I think Odorizzi absolutely can come out here and, pitch decent, just like everybody really has. I mean, the Pirates have been scoring runs to some degree, but they also scored a total of 2 runs in 3 games against the Reds bullpen, which I could probably go out there and score 2 runs myself in 2 at-bats.
Literally.
So, I mean, their offense has been better on the surface, but they really haven't been that good. And Odorizzi, you can come out here and have a decent start, but it's not the hottest take in the world. The Braves could easily cover that themselves. Contreras has not looked fantastic since he's come back, especially
no, he's not.
And then you got the Pirates bullpen coming in behind him, who they're also god awful.
Worst bullpen in the league over the last 2 weeks. I'm happy.
Yeah, they're terrible. So I mean, I think that's a solid reason for the total, and I think Odorizzi might have to come and pitch a complete game shutout to make that total safely go under.
Okay.
It's kind of where I'm at. I don't want to get too cute with that game. Play Braves online, probably not, because I don't want to do that. But
what about first 5 under?
Well, the problem is I think if they get to Runzi, it's going to be early.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would think. So I mean, if you really are itching for an under, maybe an under after the first time he gets through that lineup, maybe. But I'm staying away from it.
Okay. It has gone from 8.5 to 9, so maybe that's enough reason to chill out. You want to talk about this disgusting Phillies game, another lopsided, gross game?
This is kind of the same thing, I think.
Sessa on the bump, Syndergaard at home. Do you like anything here? You think this one could get on?
I love to fade Noah Syndergaard as much as anybody because I think he is wildly overrated. He's not been very good. I know they've won a lot of the starts that he's been with the Phillies on, but he's looked pretty atrocious in those starts, especially against bad teams. And we got another bad team in here with the Reds. I believe he pitched terribly. I think they lost that game against them the first time, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if he pitched terribly, but I'm pretty sure they lost. But it's pretty telling to me that he's minus 250 here. I mean, the Phillies are coming off of a big emotional loss against the Braves, heartbreaking game. And yes, the Reds are not good by any stretch of the imagination, but neither is Noah Syndergaard. And the fact they're showing him this much respect, and we've seen his lines be much, much shorter, even against the Reds in that start. It's another one where I really don't feel like getting cute with the Reds here. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. Do I hate Syndergaard? Am I with you 100%? But it's that time of year when teams like the Reds just don't give a fuck. And if they go down early, they're packing it up, getting ready for tomorrow. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. We'll talk about your Rays before I chirp Trent here real quick. Trent, I'm so hungover that I can barely even keep my eyes open. Throw me a bone. Okay, throw me a bone. All right, buddy. Let's go to Tampa. Let's go to Springs. Happy Springs Day.
Yeah, happy Springs Day.
You guys need a win. You're getting Davidson on the Angels, but is Davidson gonna go? Is he gonna open?
No, he's a full-time starter. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Maybe I am fucking.
There was something very interesting that I did see. I think, like, not that I'm recommending it, but it's a very Krabs-like play.
I'm all ears.
Tugger Davidson, he was at 3.5 strikeouts. He's at 3 now, but the last, I don't even know how many. I have the list here, but against lefties, the Rays just do not strike out. I mean, what is this? 2 of 5, 7, 11, 2 of 13 of the last left-handed pitchers have gone over their strikeout number, and Tugger Davidson was at 3.5, which he has not covered in the last 6 starts. It's at 3 now, and he's pushed it at 3 of those 6 times. That was a really good line that I was looking at in this game.
Yeah, let's take his fucking over strikeouts today.
I mean, yeah,
I'm in.
It's a very Krabs play, and the Rays have not been striking out a lot. It scares me a lot. Not technically recommending it, but just when I was looking at lines for this game, that was really weird to me. That he was sitting at 3.5.
So I can take it, and when it loses, I can blame you.
I mean, sure, yeah. I'm probably not going to end up taking it just because it's not fun to bet against the Rays. But
it's your team.
It's just strikeouts. So at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. It's just, it has a decent amount of push potential at 3. I'll say that. But
do we wait to see what lineup you guys put out?
Probably should. Yeah, probably should. But even so, I think that opening at 3.5 was wild to me.
Yeah, I don't like that it went down to 3, but I mean, I feel like at worst it pushes. It probably does push.
Yeah.
But maybe we put it in there with a 2-piece then, or 3-piece.
Yeah, maybe so.
Okay. All right. Well, here's a game we could talk about with maybe some excitement. We got the Twins. I know you like the Twins today, or at least like their bats, right?
Yeah.
They get it done against Reagan's here. I know they're laying minus 210. Should be a pretty safe lay piece for you, though. You think about putting that in? Maybe parlay them with Yankees alt line plus 3.5?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, honestly, this is another one where it's kind of a don't get cute thing because it's more of a fade on Reagan's than me backing Sonny Gray and the Twins bats by themselves. Because, I mean, I've watched Reagan's his first couple starts. He's looked pretty bad. He was pitching at one of the games that I went to against the A's. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get pieced up more by a shitty lineup than he did in that game. It was ridiculous. And sure, a lot of it was Sean Murphy, who was hitting balls 300 off the bat a couple times. He actually tanked against him. But he was getting pieced by Nick Allen, the Machine, all these guys, dude. And there's a lot of problems with him because his changeup is sharp when he wants it to be. But a couple of these starts, his issue has been not being terribly sharp with that changeup. So what do you got to do when you fall behind in the count? Pump fastballs down the middle, which is what gets killed. And a lot of these Twins hitters, like they're so frustrating to back, but I don't really see any situation where they don't get to Reagan's in some form today. It's wild. And yes, like somebody's talking about the A's. A's got the Castillo. Their bats are well. They have been attacking a lot of pitchers early, which surprise to everybody. That's why they're not striking out. Everybody loves to bet strikeouts against the A's, but they are not striking out because they're swinging early in the count. And against a guy like Riggins, they're going to be a little more patient today, unless he's pumping fastballs down the middle like he tends to do.
Don't let those A's bats get hot.
Don't let them.
Don't let them get hot. Are you going to take -1.5 here?
Probably not. I mean, I just don't like backing the Twins. I think this is more the situation where I take Twins props and or a team total. Because, like I said, it's more of me just fading Reagans rather than fading Sonny Gray in this game or backing Sonny Gray in this game. But I do think it's pretty telling. Again, that this is at 8.5 still with Sonny Gray on the mound with the way that these games have been going. So this tells me either that the Twins are going to really show out offensively, or that both teams are going to have some form of offense.
I like the over in this game.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Let me tell you why. All right. These teams have been under Kings recently. We're seeing every fucking dollar is on the under in this game. Probably because the public is expecting a Sonny Gray shutout here, I'm assuming. I mean, Sonny Gray he's looked really good this year. Let's not kid ourselves. He's looked pretty fucking good. They're coming off of getting shut out. What was it, 7-0 last night? Texas shut them out 7-0. So I automatically lean Twins there and the Twins offense there after getting shut out. System play.
Yeah.
Give me the over here. Do I think Texas can get some runs off of Sonny Gray? Maybe a couple. I mean, they just scored 7 yesterday. It's not like they haven't been scoring runs. They have been scoring runs relatively, but their games have been going under. Let me get the over in this one. It's set at 8.5. The line is not budging one bit with all the money coming on the under. I think we see runs from both sides, and I could definitely get behind taking some Twins props, right?
Yep.
It sucks that Correa is not going to be up there, right? But you're going to look to take him off the books. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Correa on Prize Picks. I'll be taking Jose Miranda. It's one of my favorites today.
Miranda,
I just
like Miranda.
Yeah, I don't think you can go too wrong with a couple of these guys. And, I mean, talking about the Rangers bats too. I mean, they can well do enough. People really don't realize how hot Adolis Garcia has been over the past month or so. Pretty sure he's on like a 15-something game hitting streak.
Holy shit! Let's fade him.
Yeah.
Is Luis Arias seeing the ball any better? He's really been struggling.
Yeah, he's been a little better recently, but it is against the lefty where he's typically struggled and continued to struggle. So it's not a spot where I would particularly love him, especially since he's likely going to be batting towards the end of the lineup. So it's all on him.
I don't see any Garcia props on the book. On prospects. Probably for a good reason, right?
Yeah.
Unless I'm literally being an idiot and just can't find him, but I can't find anything for him. I don't think he's up there. Phil Utley likes the Seager under runs and RBIs. Come on, Phils. I do need the Phil Utley under of the day, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a system play because it's Sonny Gray, and it's not like this is Tony Gonsolin or Justin Verlander or anything.
Right. Speaking of Tyler Gonsolin or Justin Verlander, you know who's been doing their best Gonsolin/Verlander impression recently? It's fucking Jordan Montgomery. Piece of shit. Unbelievable. He somehow went from overperforming on the Yankees to now being even better on the Cardinals. He's given up, I think, 1 run in 3 starts. Maybe fact check me on that, but pretty fucking sure he's given up 1 run into 3 starts. And he's looked, I'll tell you right now, I know for a fact he's looked incredible in a Cardinals form. Do we think he gets it done today against the Cubbies? I don't know. Drew Smyly hasn't looked too bad recently either. I'll be honest with you. But talk about a total that I thought was a little high. I don't know. Maybe it's because the Cardinals' bats have been absolutely electric. I mean, the Cardinals are streaking right now, and they're scoring runs. So maybe that's why it's set here at 8 with the odds, cheating towards the over. Wouldn't be shocked to see this one close at 8.5. I don't know. But I want to fade Jordan Montgomery, but I probably need to hear you say don't do it so that I don't do it. But I want to keep fading that fucker until he has a bad start. but he's looked like Cy Young.
He
I don't know
has.
what's up.
I mean, he has. Has looked like Cy Young. This is Cardinals against the lefty, so I mean, this plays into it a little bit. But
Right.
I mean, the guy's fantasy score on Prize Picks is sitting 19.5.
Wow, that's really fucking low.
That's really low. And I mean,
Interesting.
again, Cardinals against the lefty plays a big part of it. But I mean, with the way he's looked lately, albeit against two bad teams,
Okay.
that just feels like a pretty telling number.
This is good. We're on to something here, finally. Are you looking, so when you see that, when you see his fantasy score that low, does that make you want to take the Cubs? Does that make you want to take his fantasy score under? What goes through your head? And like, what is your game plan going forward?
I mean, I obviously want to look through it at the lens of hitters because that's
Okay.
what I look to first. So I mean, on the surface, you look at that and you're like, oh, it's a low fantasy score. Probably should take the under on that, especially being that he has 4.5 strikeout line still, and he's hanging 19.5, which is that's a low number for somebody with that strikeout number a little bit.
Okay.
But I mean, that just makes me want to take some Cardinals hitters, and as incredibly chalk as it sounds, like the Goldie Arenado, you're not going to get an argument out of me for those guys, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Especially because, I mean, Smiley's not an overpowering lefty by any means, which fits right into the matchup you want for them. But I will say it does feel like a little short of a line. But then again, we were thinking about that, the entire D-back series as well. So don't want to read too much into it. But it does seem like the Cards' bats at least are going to do something in this game.
And I'm seeing Jamon's fantasy score is 34.5. Do you think that's pretty accurate? I think that's
that's about where he's been since he's been with the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Relative number.
Something I wanted to bring up that we need to keep an eye on is if Josiah Gray has pitch count prop going forward. The Nats are talking about limiting his innings for the rest of the season, which is a smart thing. I'm happy that we're doing it actually, but we should look at. I'm putting my not mid-major Matt glasses on here, and I'm saying we should take a look at maybe taking his under pitches or under outs in his next start. Especially he's looked pretty fucking good recently too. So hopefully we get some inflated numbers. Let's see if the books have corrected and are hip to it. Because I've only seen it on a couple beat reporters' tweets. And it makes a lot of sense, right? We probably should limit that dude's innings. It's not like we're winning the World Series this year,
Yeah, probably not.
Yes, we'll probably miss the playoffs by a game or two. It should come down to the wire. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think we've been mathematically eliminated.
That's impressive.
I don't think we have. At least I haven't heard it yet. If it happens, I wouldn't know. It honestly might have already happened, but it is what it is. Hey, we took 2 out of 4 from the Padres. Honestly, we should just start calling them by their real name, the Fraudres. And we took 2 out of 4. We didn't win the series, but we stuck it to them all weekend. We battled. All the games were close. We pitched really well. Our bullpen looked good against them. Josh Hader didn't even get the closing opportunity this weekend. Something's up with him, obviously. Not a crazy take. But I'm curious to see what their game plan is using him going forward. Maybe they just don't want to pitch him against the Nats because we literally own him. And maybe it's a mental thing, after we got that hit against him in the wild card game in 2019, maybe he just can't fucking pitch against us because he never has been since then. I don't know. We still live beachfront that dude's head. But also he looked like shit the series before, not just against the Nats. So I think there's something going on with him. Maybe the Brewers, we were scratching our heads a little bit at the Brewers, but maybe there's a reason they moved him.
Yeah.
Straight up. Maybe there's a reason. We'll have to see.
To be fair, I mean, Devin Williams has not looked much better.
Yeah.
I think
the Brewers bullpen looks like shit now.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great, I would say, from the start. It was just kind of covered up by the fact that Hader was in there, he was doing well, and Devin Williams was in kind of a more comfortable spot for him. I don't think he's very comfortable being a full-time closer. I don't think it really works for him.
You're talking about Devin Williams, right?
Yeah.
I mean, did you hear how butthurt he was when they traded him? He's like,
oh, yeah.
Fuck. He's like, fuck, now I got to close.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, he didn't sound too confident in him taking over the roles. I feel like most people's reaction would be like, damn, I'm pissed we lost our guy, but I'm here to step up, and I've been waiting for this and prepping for it, and I'm excited for this moment. Devin Williams was like, oh, I don't like this. Oh, poor me. Ridiculous. Hence why that guy goes in and punches walls and breaks his hand when they're about to go on a playoff run. Maybe he doesn't have the best, head on his shoulders. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really high on Devin Williams. Although I've seen that guy look nasty the whole first half of the year. It is what it is. Edward Cabrera is pitching tonight.
Yeah, he is.
He's pitching against the Athletics. Could be a masterclass. Could end up being another total here, finishing at 7. We've seen a lot of totals, that close at 7. We've seen a lot of them end exactly on 7.
Yeah, this one I'm seeing is up to 7.5 though, but I think I don't know if it has to do with the pitching change or whatever, because I've seen Edward Cabrera, I've seen Pablo Lopez 500 different places. Pretty sure it's Cabrera, but I'm not sure everything has it listed as Cabrera yet.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I've been looking at that. I don't really know what to think about that.
Very interesting. Okay. We got Lauer and we got Urias on the mound.
Yeah, you want to talk about that line?
Yeah. What do you sounded excited there. What's sticking out to you? Are you thinking
I'm not excited?
We take the Brewers plus 220 and just hope that Lauer just continues to pitch well?
I mean, dude, he's 7-0 in his career, and he has like a 2-something ERA prior to last start, and he went out and dealt against them again and won the game. And now the Dodgers are minus 250.
Yeah, but do people know that Lauers is good against the Dodgers, or is it?
Yeah, they do. That was a big thing the first time around last week.
Okay. I mean, I'm seeing damn near 70% of the handle on the fucking Brewers, so maybe people are finally hip.
Yeah.
I joked about it. God, was it yesterday or was it? It was yesterday. I tweeted yesterday, today's going to be a good day because I get to bet on the Dodgers, a good team. Took them yesterday against Sandy. And what did they do? They fucked them up. That was lit. Maybe we get to bet on the Dodgers twice back to back. Are you kidding me? That'd be something. It's not every day I get to bet on a good team, so it gets me kind of excited.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you get? You gonna play the -1.5 here at fucking -120? Like that's like my biggest rule.
Yeah,
my biggest rule is you don't like. I honestly don't know if my body will let me place that bet. Taking a -1.5, not even a plus money. I'm literally getting chills just thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can do that, to be honest with you, but it's just that was kind of my train of thought on the game. So I think it was very telling how he pitched against them last week, how he's pitched against them in his career, because a lot of people like to value that, I think, a little more than it should be. And then they open up -250, seeing them up to -270, 75 now. Like it's interesting.
I just think the Brewers suck.
I mean, yeah, they're not scoring unless the ball goes over the wall.
Don't think they're good. Their bullpen looks like ass now, which has been. I mean, the Brewers are like what the Brewers built their team like the Nats did when they were successful, and they went pitcher first, pitcher heavy, right? Big bullpen guys, great starting rotation. They developed these arms pretty well, but their lineup, I've said it literally since opening day, not a fan of their lineup. And now that their bullpen looks like shit, and you're saying now we're getting the Dodgers, the best team in baseball, maybe the best team ever assembled, and Urias, who really struggled in the beginning of the year, but now he's starting to actually look like Urias. He's pitching fucking great. He's pitching like Urias has pitched his whole career. He's finally back, right? And we're getting
the Brewers too. The Brewers against lefties on the road. Against lefties on the road, they might as well not even come up to the plate. They're horrendous, terrible.
Yeah, I can get behind the Dodgers today. That line is moving. I mean, it's moving damn near 20 cents with all the money. It's moving 20 cents towards the Dodgers with all the money coming in on the Brewers. That's sketchy too. I like the Dodgers today. is there still like in the back of my mind, that little Dodgers cloud saying, anytime you back the Dodgers, how sharp can it be? Yeah, like I'm still thinking that, and maybe they're just minus 250 because they're the fucking Dodgers and they're really good.
Yeah.
And it's the last game of the night and it's on MLB Network and everyone's going to be on the Dodgers by the end of it, I feel like. But
yeah,
if the narrative is that Lauer's unbelievable against the fucking Brewers, let's fade the fuck out of that narrative.
I think I don't want to say it doesn't make complete sense because, like I said, it's the Brewers against a lefty who they struggle against, and on the road they struggle against lefties, and their offense is terrible just in general outside of Milwaukee. So I mean, that plays a little bit into the line. But I mean, Lauer, he's looked superhuman against the Dodgers his whole career and a week ago, and they're borderline gonna touch minus 300. That was wild to me.
So let's do what I like to do with you, and let's look at what these pitchers' fantasy scores or prize picks props are at, and let's see if they look weird to you. Urias is almost at fucking 40, dude. Is that where he should be, or is that a little high?
I mean,
that's high, isn't it?
It might be a little high, but at the same time, Justin Steele pitched against the Brewers yesterday, another lefty on the road, and looked like prime Jacob deGrom. I'm pretty sure he had like 50 fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Urias has been really good too since like somebody said in chat, since the All-Star break. So it makes sense. I mean, I think Lauer is a touch low, but again, makes sense because they're not expecting him to get a quality start. They're not expecting him to get the win. So I'd say all the lines make sense. I know Trent was putting in the chat that he was on with some guy who's on Lauer's under fantasy score. I don't think that's a terrible look.
Okay.
Because I mean,
I like it. It's a contrarian play. I don't care if it's against the Dodgers. This dude owns the Dodgers, and his score is at 26.5. I feel like that's pretty low. I don't know, but everything you just said makes complete sense. That total has went from 7.5 to 8, which I think is key. And we'll see if it keeps moving, right?
Yeah.
But that's, if the total was set at 7 or 7.5, I'd be like, okay, maybe we do get another Lauer masterclass. But the fact that I'm seeing 8 with how well Urias has pitched and how good Lauer's looked against them, I think that's pretty telling as well.
Yeah.
6-1, 2.56, bunch of strikeouts. Cam, what do you think about the Dodgers game today, Mr. Dodgers Slurper? Let me know what you think, bro. Need to know.
First team all slurp.
Gosh, Trent is back in the house tonight, and the first thing he gets to hear before he hops back on is that the Dodgers are the play today. That's kind of concerning.
He's gonna play that song so fast.
That one where he gets Oh man. Well, I don't hate that Lauer under. Let's fade the fuck out of him and let's bet on the best team in baseball. Dodgers minus 1.5. Gave Peter the approval too. Damn, Peter likes it as well. Might have to bet on the Dodgers 2 times in a row for the first time in my entire life tonight. How about it?
Gross. It's disgusting.
Alt line. I honestly, if I take it, I might take alt line minus 2.5 just to get that plus money because I don't think my body will let me take the minus 1.5.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat.
Okay.
I don't know if I can do that.
Well, let's sync up on that. Chat, thanks for coming. Michael Jordan flu game from the kid today. Didn't have my A game. Didn't have my good stuff up there today on the bump. Didn't have my good all speed. Was working with just the fastball today. It is what it is. But tomorrow we'll be back ready to go. We may do, Jovan. I appreciate you as always coming up here and leading the combos today. My brain is mush. The old 2-day hangover, man. I'm getting old. I'm happy you're starting up your last year of school, but shit, man, take your time. Maybe do a 5th year. What's the rush?
Yeah, I'll pass on that one.
These 2-day hangovers, they sting. They sting.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, my man. Let's have a fucking night. We've got football coming up here soon. Might be on the Dodgers tonight. Goodness gracious. It is what it is. And the Yankees are getting to face Max Scherzer today, and they'll probably lose. So life is good. We carry on. The Megalodon smacked. The units returned home safely, Jovan. And as always, guys, bet responsibly. Okay, not everyone needs to be throwing Megalodons around. I've said it before. I've said it again. If you're going to chase, if you're going to throw nukes, you just got to have the funds to back it up. It is what it is. We can't be unleashing the whole bank account, the whole mortgage on a bet. But, you only turn 24 once, and you only get to deploy a 24 U Megalodon on your birthday one time until the 25 U Megalodon comes out next year. Okay? Let's have a fucking night, guys. I need to be literally carried today throughout the week or throughout the night. I will be taking whatever you take today, Jovan, and trusting my goats, as Trent would say. All right, my man.
Let's do it.
Trent, happy to have you back, my dudes. Take over. Let's get it. It would be a great story to have the squad hit a parlay on your first day back, my man. Let's do it. Jovan, we'll be seeing.
We will.